Here we are back with more functional art. This time I'm going to be using 25mm tube with 4mm outer diameter. This is considered 1-inch tube with heavy wall. I'm going to be using a amber purple color mixed with clear. What this is going to do is create a stripe pipe for me. And as you can see, I am going to be layering it down as I've done in previous videos. This piece of art here, it takes me about 30 minutes in total to produce. And total production cost is upwards of about $1.50. Now about $1 of that is for the amber purple that I'm putting in there. Patience is a virtue when you're working with glass, because the first rule in lamp working is if you think it's hot enough, it is not. You've heard me say that before, and it's a lesson I am still learning. However, if you look back at my earlier videos, when I'm layering down color on those tubing, it is extremely poor and it takes me much longer than it is now. Also, I have a lot of air bubbles in my older ones, and I was not able to melt it in properly because I just did not have the confidence in the way that I held and maneuvered the glass in this very hot flame. So as you can see, I'm alternating between clear and amber purple, and I'm layering it down on both sides. So I'm layering 2 stripes of each color at a time just to make it go a little bit faster. In the future, when I'm more proficient at doing this, I'll be able to do 4 at a time, but right now I just do it on either side. It makes it a little bit easier for me to keep track of where I am in my color pattern. If you screw up the color pattern, it screws up the pipe really, so you have to be careful to make sure that you do it properly. This is still the longest part of the process for me. A few of the other difficulties that I had last week I've sort of sorted out, and we'll take a look at that as I get further into the process of this piece of art here. As you can see, you can tell the striping in the colors because all of the color maintains and retains heat much better than the clear. Clear glass goes clear very fast, whereas colored glass stays bright red for quite a while. Using the graphite pad here, I'm just making sure that there's no air bubbles, because that will disrupt the process later on when I'm trying to melt the color in. This is still a learning curve for me, and with this thicker tubing, it makes it much easier to pull points and make pieces of art with a very thick piece of wall, which maintains strength once you start to blow it out and stretch it out. With this thick wall, I'm adding on about 2mm of wall to it, so it's in total about 5 to 6mm, I'd say, in the outer diameter of the wall, which is really quite thick glass. So when I pull it to half the thickness, or half the diameter, or blow it to double the diameter, it will retain still a 3 or 4mm wall, ideally, which is what, at the moment, I'm looking for the walls of my pieces of art. If you can see closely here, I didn't quite have it on either side properly, so one side closes up much faster than the other as far as layering it down. So at one point I stopped working on one side of this piece of art, and now I'm just having to fill in the opposite side. So you can see that process just right here. I'm going to be working on getting a different camera for this. This particular model in HD film only allows me to film 10 minutes at a time, and when I'm distracted with the work in the hot glass in the fire, I sometimes forget to hit the record button, so later on I do miss one stage of this piece, but it's a stage that you've seen many times on this channel alone previously, and you'll see it many times further on. So right now I'm just melting the glass in. There's a few small air pockets that I just popped and filled with clear glass. That will allow it to melt in much more smoothly than if the air pockets remained. You can see I put a very small, very light punty on the end there. I've been experimenting with different shapes and sizes for that. I find that the smaller the punty I put on, the better off I am, because the weight does not affect how the piece pulls and hangs in the heat here. So as you can see, I'm now just filling in a few more pockets as I'm working up along this piece of art here. I think I filled 3 or 4 pockets on this one, and in the past I was filling, 10 or 12, maybe 20 pockets, and it was creating a very ugly final product. This final piece, because I used clear to fill the pockets, you can barely even see where I repaired them. So over time, that will definitely improve, and I'll get much better at doing that. So right now what I'm just doing is melting and blowing into the mouthpiece of this to thin out the glass as much as possible. This will make it much easier for me to pop and pick the hole when I'm finished the other end of this piece of art. So I'm just about finished there, I believe, and then I'm going to start working on the bowl, which is still not melted in. I like to sort of start in the center, work my way to one end, and then go back to the other and finish the bowl. So I just took off the weak punty here, and now what I'm going to be doing is cleaning up the end, which is going to be pulling off and removing the excess glass that's bunched up and made the end very thick. And what I'm doing here is just using punties and spinning in a counter clockwise rotation in either hand, stripping the excess glass from the end, melting only the very tip as to make sure I don't distort the coloring in the rest of the piece. So I've gotten a suitable amount of the end off, and I'm happy with the outer diameter of the glass. So I'm just patting in some final touches for the bowl before I blow it out and begin popping the hole. Now popping the hole is the part of this a piece that I actually missed because I didn't reset the video fast enough, but you've seen that before. I hope we have at least one of the holes in here. No, we don't. So I'm just going to be pulling that down now towards the fire, and the video is going to cut out in just a second. So we do miss the whole bowl process for this one. I apologize for that. But this is one of my favorite pieces that I've made so far. It's definitely one of the highest quality pieces that I've made so far, and I'm really happy with the progress that I've made so far on my lampworking skills. So you can now see that I'm going to now punty the end up and then change my mind and use the other the hot fingers, and the bowl is already formed on this piece of art. Like I said, I've missed that that portion of the video. So now we're just going to quickly heat the end here and extract the blow tube that I have attached there. First just puffing in to thin the glass out a little bit more, so when I go to pick and pull the glass away, I can make it as easy as possible. This is a part of the process that I had a lot of trouble on last week, and it's something that I spent a lot of time over the last few days working on. And I've already formed my hole now, and it's just a matter of cleaning it up. So that was 3 or 4 picks, as opposed to the 20 or 30 that it took me last week to get a hole formed there, which is fantastic, because that was very frustrating, because quite often at this stage in the process, if you heat the wrong part, because the bowl now is cooled down, if I heat it too much, the bowl is going to crack, and that's going to really fuck me over. So I'm happy that that sort of worked out for me, and this piece is now finished. If you want to see it, check it out at my other channel. If you don't know what my other channel is, it's Masterola at youtube.com/Masterola. Cheers guys, have a great night, and of course, happy melting.